All right, man, let's talk. So the Herro rumors are heating up again. I need a hero. So, and for whatever reason, I don't know. I kind of heard the Celtics really didn't care for the deal with Miami, sending him to Giannis to Miami. So now maybe the Miami Heat are willing to make a deal with the Detroit Pistons directly for Herro. Now, could they break up the gang? I mean, I don't know what Miami gonna do. Pat Riley don't want to give up. He don't want to retire. So I can't really tell you to keep it a bean, but check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. How I really feel about Herro, there's been some. I tell you, I'm so tired of fucking semi-trucks, dog. They don't never want to sit behind another truck, and they act like they about to do like 50 miles, like they about to go 60, 70, 80. They only go 60 miles. Yeah, get your bitch ass back over. They be killing me with that shit, dog. You gonna do the same speed as the two fucking semi-trucks in front of you. Why would you come into the lane where we flowing and we passing? You ain't about to pass shit. Yeah. Man, I can't stand some of these semi-truck drivers, bro. But that was my roll rant. I ain't had one in a minute. But I hate when they do that. I don't want to be around this truck, but you about to do the same speed as this truck. So you're going to block up all three lanes for y'all all to simultaneously do the same speed and cause a traffic jam. Never understood it, right? But how I really feel about Herro, I mean, some playoff issues there. Always injured when the playoffs come. He did play in the bubble championship and play well in the bubble. When they made the championship versus Denver Nuggets, he was injured. So a lot of important times for them, he was injured. And then when he played in the playoffs, he really ain't really been that guy in the playoffs. But at 26 years old, I mean, really within the system of Cade Cunningham and therefore still being young and still being on that timeline with the Pistons, really, when you look at them, he really that guy on the perimeter for them. He comes to Detroit, he won't be that guy on the perimeter. He won't have the burden of being that guy. He will have the burden of having a relief valve for Cade Cunningham, right? If they're able to acquire Trey Murphy, he will also have that relief valve for Trey Murphy. So it won't be as much pressure on like to say, him and Bam and whoever they had, throughout the years, whether it's, Jimmy Butler or whoever it may have been, the pressure won't be on him to be the second or first scoring option. So it's a little different, you know what I'm saying? And when you look at a guy like James Harden and people talk about his playoff shortcomings, it's because he always got to have a ball in his hand. So he really ain't a catch and shoot guy. He's predicated basically whether he getting these phantom foul calls, getting to the line. You know what I'm saying? In his mid to later career, he was able to facilitate, get the ball to guys. But it got to the point where he's not doing nothing else but having the ball in his hand. And when he turned the ball over, when he get tired from this usage rate, when he get tired from the jump shots, when he can't foul bait and get to the foul line, what else does he give you? I remember Kobe Bryant playing against the Celtics. He was having a bad shooting game. It might have been a closeout game when they played him in the championship when the Lakers won. They lost one and won one. He had like 17 rebounds. Okay, my jump shot not falling. All right, how can I assist the team in another way? He sat there and he crashed the boards. He locked in and played defense. He did little things, dive for the, and that's the thing with James Harden. When your whole existence is in purpose on the court, I gotta have my ball in my hands. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, that's what people gonna look. And when you turn it over in crunch time, and when your usage rate is that high, and that's what you're worried about with Cade Cunningham, it wears you down. That's why you got to learn to play without the ball. It allows you to have longevity. When you learn to play without the basketball, you learn to catch and shoot. You learn to, move, post, conserve energy. That's why you see Michael play in the post so much. I really ain't got the energy for 100 and something games because of playoffs and even preseason to blow by people. So let me get in the post and buy myself some time. That's what people got to understand. You know what I mean? So, but with Herro in this situation, it ain't gonna all fall on him. He can facilitate the ball. He's a good facilitator. And in this situation, there's gonna be nights if they keep Duren, you might be the fourth scoring option. That's the crazy thing. Trey Murphy, K might have it going. Duren might have it going. You might get 20. You might just get 20 on 10 shots. You know what I'm saying? Sitting at the 3-point line. Easy. It might be nice where you that guy. You drop 40. They like, man, we got to stop Cade and Duren and Trey Murphy or whoever over there. And it's show night. That's the luxury of playing with a team. People don't look at it, I want it to be my team. And it's my team. And it's my team. And you don't understand. It's hard when you got 5, 10, 15 eyes on you, everybody on the other team looking at you, and you the man, and you got to find a way to score 30. You got a hard 30. You had to earn it. And by the time you get the game 65, 50, you're tired. That's why it's a team. And that's why they can't rely on just putting it on K. And also you can't rely on somebody's past. Especially when you start talking about these guys. Look at Tobias Harris, broke through the playoffs in year, whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just rely on once you put guys in different situations, especially coaching. Okay, maybe they put too much on Herro. They put him at the top of the key and told him to go for 1-on-5. That ain't gonna work. That's the problem with James Harden. He young enough where, guess what? You can catch and shoot. You can move him off screen. You can post him up. You can let him facilitate. You can let him play. You can still mold him into being, something different. So I'm not really concerned. I know that was brought to my attention. I'm not concerned about the playoff woes because if they're able to have Trey Murphy and Cade Cunningham and even keep Duren, dog, guess what? It ain't going to be as much falling on you. Now, defensively, you got to come here and defend. But one thing, and nobody talks about this, about Duncan Robinson. Nobody talks about it. The way Duncan Robinson came in and defended his ass off last year, nobody talked about it. Duncan came in and defended his ass off. He was an above average defender, in my opinion. On most of the games I seen him, he defended. So the standard is this. You gonna come in and defend your ass off or you can't be here. Cade, all the best players on the Pistons play defense. Cade, Duren, he had some lapses in the playoffs. We'll figure it out. If he's still around, I think eventually here or somewhere else, he will figure it out. You gonna play defense. You gonna play, say what you say about Karius not being a good player last year. He still came out that motherfucking played defense. Say what you about B-Ball Paul. When he got in there, he still played defense. Wu was known for defense, but hey, he came in there, he defended. The standard is the standard. I'm not worried about Herro coming in. He got all the athletic ability, all the quickness, the height to come and play a really good, be defensive. And another thing I really like about him is that you literally can play him with him and Dennis Jenkins. He literally can be another point guard. You know what I'm saying? He literally can handle the ball, facilitate, create. But my biggest concern is durability. And when we talk about all these guys, Trey Murphy, Lauri Markkanen, all these guys, even keeping Duren, he was fairly healthy last year, but had some issues in the past, is durability. Every guy that you mentioned, we talking about durability, bro. Every guy we've been associated with, Kyrie, even the kid out of Michigan, people want. He coming off an injury. And it wasn't a series. That's just a topic. So how can we help these guys be more durable? You got to ask, what did Duren do? What did Cade do? Because they came in. People forget Asar almost fucking died. That was the first full offseason he could do something. And still, you got to think about it. He probably still don't trust his cardiovascular. When you talking about blood clots, that ended Chris Bosh's career. So as an organization, I think the Lions are starting to figure that out and do more research. As an organization, how do we fill the void? How do we fill that void for our injury-prone players, bro? How do we make them more durable? How we get the essential tools to be more to be more strong? And these guys got to get in the weight room. That's as simple as that. Basketball players hate lifting weights. I was listening to Jason Tatum say that, but you got to do it. That's why y'all all breaking down. You got to be in the weight room. That muscle protects your tendons and your bones. And I just want y'all to do something. Go back in the day and look at the how the players looked in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s. They were jacked. Go look at X-Men. Go look at Kevin Willis. He from Detroit, by the way. Shout out to Kevin Willis. Go look at some of these guys. Look at how Scottie Pippen and Michael was built when they finally got over the. They were strong. They were strong. Look at Dwight Howard was like one of the last guys built like that. Until you got a guy like Jalen Duren. And that's why you really can't give up on that body that Jalen Duren got. You don't see it no more in the NBA. You don't see it. That quickness, that body, that speed. When he figured out them ankle issues, you don't see it in the NBA no more. That's why it's hard not to pay him and not to make it a Duren rat at the end. But it's hard. That's an anomaly. The way he able to handle the ball at that size, he able to pass. He able to walk and chew bubble gum and not be clumsy like Wemby. That's an anomaly. Them niggas is an anomaly. Excuse my language. They are not. You don't get guys that's that big like Wemby and can do all that stuff and not be clumsy and still be. You don't get guys built like Jalen Duren no more. Maybe the last guy with that skill and built like that was Dwight Howard, bro. I feel like he a better ball handler than Dwight Howard. No, Diddy, especially mentioning Dwight. But I really do. Oh man, the player cool, man, bro. Your first time, taking the ACT, SAT test. Sometimes some of us had to take it 2 or 3 times to get it together. Some of us never did. But hey, hit the link in the description. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.